What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the House of Benjamin podcast with your boy Benjamin Buchanan. Real quick, I just wanted to talk about something that I don't really hear anybody talking about. So, do y'all pray for your children's spouses? And I don't mean their current spouses, because right now your kid may be an infant, a newborn, a toddler, you know what I'm saying, a young adult, teenager, whatever the case may be. And I had got the revelation, I forgot from who, but they basically said, hey man, pray for your children's significant other, because we could all use prayer. And I don't do it all the time, but when I do remember, I do it. You feel me? Because, oh my gosh, these people speeding. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yo, the police don't be around when they need to be, bro, for real. But anyways, so, yeah, because, we all need prayer. We all need prayer. And it would do good for us to pray for our children's significant others, right? Just pray for their health, pray for their wealth, pray for their mind, pray for their spirits, just pray over them. Of course, we don't know who they are, but God knows. And the thing too, we realize that in life, the enemy always tries to separate man and woman, right? Because the union between man and woman is the most powerful union on the earth, which is why God made, Adam and Eve. And when they came together, they became one flesh, right? And it was Prophetess Tiffany Montgomery that said, I don't remember the scripture, but y'all could go look up what I'm telling y'all. It basically said God will basically silence the man and the woman. There'll be no the voice of mirth and so forth. I can't remember. But what she was saying about that was God wanted to do a particular thing. And if the man and woman were in agreement as to basically go to him and pray like that this thing don't happen, then he would oblige. But he said, nah, I gotta make these people silent, because I have to do a great work. I have to do something on the earth, So Satan always tries to separate man and woman, to keep husbands from the wives, to keep the wives from the husbands, whether through bickering and all these different things. So we should just pray for our children and their spouses. And even if they're married now, still pray for them, because you never know. Pray for them. It was just an accident. People don't be paying attention out here, man. Now they're out there looking at each other's trucks. It's a company truck, they got to explain to their boss, like, hey, we got into a fender bender, and more than likely there's going to be drug tests, and there may be, they may be getting benched, but they're all okay though. But anywho, listen, pray over your children, pray over your children's futures, pray over your children's spouses to be. Fathers, being that you are the head of the house, being that you are the priest and the provider of the house, make sure you guys are doing this, okay? And wives, you do it too. Husbands and wives, do it together. Pray for your children's together. Pray for your children's spouses together, right? And, I just felt the need the other day to just get that word out there that, hey, just praying to the future, man. Praying to the future, right? Pray for your children's spouses. They need it. They need it. Wherever they are, they need it. Because you don't know, your prayer may be what brings them to your children, right? not to say they weren't already destined to, be married to your kid or whatever, but Satan, bro, like he'll at times even try to get people in relationships that they should not have been in the first place, and you miss destiny. You miss the calling that God had for you. You miss that person, right, who was to be your who was to be the Eve to your Adam, who was to be your helpmeet, right, who was to be your your ride or die or whatever. So just pray, man. Pray for these people. Because as we know, prayer changes things. Whatever we're going through, always pray. And it may not come when we desire it to come, but it will come if it's in the will of God for your life. You will experience whatever that thing is. Why? Because it's God's will. As my brother at Cash Herbert said, his clothing line, his will, yeah, just like that, it's God's will. So pray God's will over your children's lives in everything, in jobs, in relationships, right? And just over their lives in general. Pray God's will over your children's lives. Pray God's will over your children's spouses, whether they're married now or into the future. Pray God's will, because God's will is better than man's will, right? But listen, that's really all I had to say. I'm about to go home and take care of my little babies. Listen, God bless each and every one of you, and I'll see you in another video. And like I always say, man, get out your flesh and get in the spirit. God bless.